Hey everyone, this is Ben Flynn again. About, I don't know, 20 seconds ago, I just recorded a video of Zeleo working with Office 365 and Google Calendar, and I wanted to go through and show you how to set this up so that you can have your own system configured this way. So, to start, as you always do, I'm going to log into the Zeleo system, and the first thing I'm going to do when I get in is to go to my Manage Team dialog. Again, you will only see this if you're an administrator for your team, so if you don't and you're on someone else's team, just email that administrator and request that access. Before I go any further, because this is confused some people in the past, we by default do not have creation rights on, which is going to change in a short update, but depending on when you're seeing this video, it might still be this way. So if you don't see these three lines here on the side panel, or when you get to the video, you can't open the side panel on the left, this is probably why. This button right here, this looks like a pencil with a box, that needs to be green. And these are just toggle buttons, so for instance, if I toggle this off, you'll see it just disappeared for me, and if I toggle it back on, it will reappear. So that's going to allow you to be able to create rules and content in the system. So with that said, let's go to our Applications tab, again still in our Manage Team dialog, and you'll see that Office 365 Calendar and Google Calendar are already added to my team. They will start for you down here in Available Applications, and what you do is for both of those you want to click the plus button next to them. And when you click the plus button, it will be moved up to this section, Applications Installed, which means it's installed on your team and available for use. Now, once you have those added to your Zeleo team, we need to do a little bit of configuration, and then we can create some logic. So the configuration is going to be done in your Edit Profile dialog. So go ahead and open that and go to your Applications tab. And scroll down, you'll see Office 365 Calendar and Google Calendar sections here. And you're going to do the same thing for both, 2 steps for each. One is to click, starting in Office 365 for example, we're going to click the Allow Access button, and it's going to open a new browser tab and sign you into your Office 365 account. Now I'm already signed in, so it's just going to take a second and automatically do this, but you're probably going to have to log in and give us some permissions. And when you see this success message, this means that we have access. So you've just allowed Zeleo access to your Office 365 calendar. Now the next thing you need to do is to enter your Office email into this email address blank here. And once you've done that, hit this checkbox right here to save the field. It's very important. It won't save if you don't hit this checkbox here. The next section here, so we're moving on to Google Calendar. Do the same thing, hit Authorize Google, and you're going to pick your Google account if you have more than one. Now this will go away. We have not been approved yet as of the time of this recording for Google, so it's going to give you this kind of ugly dialog here. You just have to click Advanced and go to Zeleo Unsafe. I promise you we are safe, we just haven't gone through the steps to get that removed yet. Here is going to give you the dialog that asks for permissions, so it's going to be asking permission for your calendar. If you click Allow, it's going to give Zeleo access to your calendar. And you'll see the same banner as before. And the next thing, just as before, the Gmail address field, you need to put your Gmail address in here, and again hit this checkbox right above Google, or right next to Google Calendar, right above the field, to save that value. And that's it. So now Zeleo is configured to use and interact both of those systems. And what we can do now is create some logic, and we're going to create 3 rules to replicate what I showed in that previous video, which I'll show again at the end of this, where if you get a calendar invite, create, update, delete on your Google Calendar, in your Office calendar, it will automatically happen on your Google Calendar as well. Now, you do this on the side panel, and again, if you don't see this on the top left, that means you need to go to your Manage Team dialog and check that pencil with a box on it icon next to your name to make sure it's green. Now, we're going to create 3 rules, as I mentioned. So we're going to start by going to our Rules tab. You probably have nothing in here. I use the system, obviously, so I have plenty of rules. So we're going to hit the plus button here to create a new rule. And we're going to name it Office 365 Calendar Create. So we're going to start with the Create event. And I'm going to go down here and select Office 365 Calendar as the initial condition event. And I'm just going to select Calendar event. And then the first thing you always have to do in all 3 of these is to set the email address to person. So that basically means the focus of the event is whoever's email address is on the calendar event itself. So for instance, when I create an event or if I get invited to an event, my email address is going to be linked to my Zeleo account and I'll be the focus of this rule. Anyone else in your team will be likewise. If that's confusing, just do this and you don't have to think about it. So just email address equals person. The next thing we want to do is go to event type, and we're going to pick created because this is going to be reacting to the Office 365 calendar create event. And just for record's sake, and we're not going to go into this in this demo, you can see that there are all other fields in here that you can use to narrow down the condition if you want to do something a little more specific. But we are going to ignore that for now and go to consequences. And I'm going to go to Google Calendar, and I'm just going to say create event. Now the Google Zeleo application has been designed to automatically recognize an Office 365 calendar event and do the translation. So that's going to happen without having to do anything in here. We just do that automatically. So we're going to save. And now we're going to do the same thing for update. So I'm going to go a little faster this time. We're going to go to Office 365 Calendar again, Calendar Event, and then I'm going to go into email address, set that to person, and I'm going to go to event type is updated. And as you see, there are other event options here, acknowledgement and missed, which you can react to if you choose. And again, for this demonstration, also I'm going to name this Office 365 Calendar Update Event. And then I'm going to go into my Google Calendar and I'm going to say Update Event. And again, automatically the service will know what to do. I hit save and then add in one final bit of logic to do Office 365 delete event. I'm going to do the same thing again, only for the delete condition. So again, email, and go to event type, and we're going to go deleted. Then I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go to Google Calendar. Then I'm just going to say delete event. I'm going to hit save. And there you have it. You are all set up to have your Google Calendar react to all of the different events that can happen in your Office calendar and keep it up to date. So for example, if I go to my Office calendar, and again, this works for both the rich client or the web client. It's not specific to either one. I'm just going to go in and create a test appointment. And this is the same demonstration I showed in my last video. I'm going to go back to my Google Calendar, and shortly you will see the test appointment pop up. It really depends on when Google decides to poll. There it goes. And you'll see that's test appointment 3 p.m. Now if I go in, I'm going to do a little something different. I changed times in the other demonstration, so I'm just going to do new name, hit save. It's just to show an update. I'm going to go back here and you'll see this 3 p.m. test appointment change title. There it goes. See new name, 3 p.m. And finally, I'm just going to hit delete. And you'll see it delete momentarily. Now, if you're seeing the pop-ups, I'm not sure if that actually records. I also created rules to assign tasks in my system when this happened, so that's that as well. But anyway, this is how you configure the basic case of synchronizing your Office 365 with your Google Calendar. Clearly, this is just scratching the surface. Zeleo offers lots of different configuration options. You can use Zeleo to connect basically your team to your Office calendar if you so choose. You can update Slack depending on who sent the calendar invite. There really are numerous possibilities, and basically if you think of anything and we're not covering it, it's not able to be done as of yet, please just let us know. That kind of feedback is incredibly valuable to us because we want to know what people want to use our system for so that we can make sure that it's useful to you guys. So please reach out with any questions or suggestions. If you need any help setting this up, or even if you need us to do it for you, we're happy to do so. My email address personally is benjamin.flynn, F-L-Y-N-N, @zeleoinc.com. Thanks again.